Hey everyone, Michelle Seidling here with another episode of Food Experience Unplugged. What does it mean to thrive as you age? Today we'll explore that with Alexi Bracey, known as the Thriving as You Age coach and founder of the Whole Health Academy in Toronto, Canada. Alexi Bracey, welcome to Food Experience Unplugged.
Well, thank you so much. I'm delighted to be part of your genre, so to speak.
Oh, thank you. It's so good to be with you as a thriving as you age health coach. That is amazing that you focus on that. So, to start out with, will you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got to this point?
Well, 20 years ago, I was diagnosed with cancer, which totally, obviously shook my world. But I reframe it now and I say cancer saved my life because if I had gone on doing what I was doing 20 years ago, who knows where my health would be today. So I made changes in my lifestyle. I focused primarily on a raw food, plant-based diet at the time because I was living on the West Coast in Vancouver and the raw food movement was really hot. And it's a lot easier to eat raw food when the temperature is not minus 20 degrees in the wintertime. You know, it's, sort of more seasonal. So I focused on the raw food and I eliminated environmental household toxins, and I did some emotional work. And within a year, without drug surgery or medical intervention, I was cancer free. So hence started my journey. I was already a trained chef, and so I switched my traditional chef hat for one of a plant based chef hat, and further have spent the last 20 years studying and learning all I can about health and all, holistic health in so many different ways. I've helped people with diabetes or with cancer or with weight loss, whatever. And then of late, like the last few years, I've been thinking, brain health is so important as we age, and we have an epidemic of neurological disorders, not only in North America but on this planet. And after having a horrific experience at a nursing home where I witnessed firsthand women experiencing dementia in a dining room where visually they had to be shown the food entrees. For some, the food had to be cut up. Some had to be fed. Some were feeding themselves like a 2-year-old. But there was no eye contact, no interaction, no conversations, no laughter amongst the women. And what was even worse, that some of these women were even younger than me. And I went,
Wow.
this has got to stop. I mean, because dementia can be, number one, prevented, number two, stopped, and in some cases even reversed. So I just focus on the stopping and the prevention. And given our world situation today with our, seniors isolated in nursing homes and retirement homes. And I've heard of horrible stories where you get a phone call saying your mother died in the nursing home and you couldn't even be with her. And she was suffering from dementia. So she absolutely had no idea what was going on. I thought, this is horrific. So, what can you do now so you are not down that same road? Heaven forbid another COVID happens 5, 10 years from now.
Well, that is amazing, Alexi. That, oh my goodness, so many different experiences between the two groups of people that you saw. And just to think of how you can how you can minimize that or reverse that, as you say. And we are here to do just that. So, but let's start out maybe by what does it mean to thrive as you age? You consider yourself a thriving as you age coach. What specifically does that mean?
Well, making yourself the CEO of your health. You are in charge, not your doctor, but you. And so the choices you make will reflect on your health, be it a poor diet, not enough sleep, not enough exercise, poor family relationships. So, be progressive and take charge of your health. And today is not too late to start because your body's very resilient and it does adapt to changes. So, first and foremost, I do support a plant based diet. It's not for everybody, but what I suggest, try a meatless Monday or get your family to go on a week-long challenge where you don't have any meat at all and just see if you don't improve your health in terms of digestion, better sleep, maybe you'll lose some weight. There's a great movie called Game Changer where they document athletes who were all plant-based, professional athletes, Olympic athletes, and their results are absolutely astounding. The American free weight lifter 1,000 pounds in the
Wow.
Olympics was vegetarian. A,
Wow.
a woman
That's
de- a woman decided, she was a cyclist. She was 40 years old. 3 months before she was scheduled to attend the Olympics, that she was going to go on a vegetarian diet. She won the gold, and she was the oldest female cyclist ever to win the gold in her category, vegetarian.
wow.
So, I mean, if you think of it, the strongest animals on the planet are a giraffe, a gorilla, a hippo, a horse. They're vegetarian. So people have that myth that you need flesh protein for strength. You don't. There's more protein in a cup of lettuce than there is in a 4 ounce chicken breast. So it's about feeding your body micronutrients rather than macronutrients, because macronutrients put on the weight. They're calories that your body doesn't utilize to enable the body to function at its optimum. So that means a lot of fruits and vegetables, a color array, a rainbow array. I mean, if you think of it, the blue zones, which are the 5 communities worldwide that boast to be the longest living with an agile body, sound mind, well into their 90s and hundreds, predominantly they are plant-based.
Mm,
So,
interesting.
so just challenge yourself to prove to yourself. I was chef at well-respected detox spa in Canada, and predominantly throughout the week, women would come because spa treatments and pampering and whatever. And on weekends, the women would drag their husbands for 2 days. And after they check out after lunch on Sundays, and so I made it a point to go to talk to them how they enjoyed their stay, and it was 100% unanimous. The men were totally astounded that being on a plant-based uh, protocol from Friday to Sunday afternoon, they were satiated and they didn't feel hungry.
Mm, interesting. Yes. And there's so much you can do with the fruits and vegetables to make it hearty.
That's right,
That's
exactly, exactly. So, one key thing that I really like people to know is, because our soil is so heavily sprayed with toxins and chemicals and pesticides, it's really important to eat as much organic as possible, especially the foods that are heavily sprayed with, that are genetically modified, or they're sprayed with Roundup, which is
mm,
glyphosates. And and glyphosates is the active ingredient in Roundup used by Monsanto, that farmers spray in their crops to kill off the bugs for a better crop yield. So it's sprayed on wheat, all grains, all beans and legumes, um, sunflower seeds, flax seeds, squash, tomatoes, yams, potatoes. So those absolutely have to be organic, because then you're negating any benefit you are of eating those fruits and vegetables because of the chemical compounds.
interesting. And is that kind of across the board with all companies, all industries would use the glyphosate?
That's right, exactly. The only exception being is in Europe. It's a little different story because they don't have anything to do with Monsanto.
Sure,
And then
absolutely.
and Monsanto has been bought out by Bayer, and there are now, to date, 42,000 pending lawsuits against Bayer because it has been shown that glyphosates do cause cancer.
Wow, interesting. So, but I love your plant-based focus then, regardless of, your focus on organic, your focus on plant-based. So in your coaching, in your mentorship, do you primarily focus on that aspect of their
I
health?
do, I do focus on it, and just give it a try to prove to yourself that you will feel better, you will feel satiated, and even meatless Mondays, and then the following week do 2 days, and the following week do 3 days, and get somebody to join you. If your family won't join you, get a friend to do it. You know, when you're at the office and other days, have the challenge at work. Let's try it for a week, see how we feel, just to prove to yourself. Not because I
Mhm.
said so, but just to prove to yourself.
Sure, absolutely. And even just doing it gradually, it doesn't have to be something you just dive into all at once. So,
That's right, exactly, exactly.
yes. So, with regard to thriving as you age as a whole, what areas of focus are particularly relevant we talked about plant-based eating, but what areas are there certain other areas that you focus on as well?
Well, you definitely need to exercise. Um, it doesn't have to be high intensity, but as we get older, we where our balance isn't as good and we lose muscle mass. So just, small hand weights you can do at home. There's lots of online programs, yoga, stretches. It's recommended a 45-minute walk per day, but a brisk walk, not a leisurely walk. And go out into nature because that's where you rejuvenate, in the woods, in parks or whatever. And one good exercise that I suggest for people to improve their balance is stand up with your feet, 6 inches apart, raise one foot bent at the knee, and hold it for as long as you can. So you're only standing on one foot. And you only do it for 10 seconds and then maybe 15, and work your way up so you can do it for a minute. Then do it with the other leg. And then stand with your leg bent again and close your eyes and
Mm,
try that. And I promise you, if you do it faithfully every single day, by the end of the week, you will be amazed how much you have improved. And that's great for balance, especially, you know, slipping on ice or losing your balance when you're walking. I mean, it's not just for people as they get older, but it's for everybody across the board.
yes, absolutely. And as you age, is it just kind of with notwithstanding exercises that you can do, is it just a matter of the aging process that you lose your balance in that
Well,
regard?
that certainly expedites it, definitely. We're
Mm,
perhaps not as agile, but, it really makes a big difference. I mean, I have taken so many tumbles on ice, and fortunately, I just got up and brushed the snow off, and I kept on going. But, I do practice this exercise on a regular basis.
sure. And I'm sure has really made a difference in a lot of people, a lot of your clients, a lot of others that you may have seen.
Yeah, and the thing is, if you do it for 5, 7 days every day, you will be totally amazed how much you improve. It's just totally amazing.
Wow, that is amazing. So
If
you
I
would you I'm sorry, please
No,
go
no,
ahead.
no, I was gonna say if I could see you, I'd tell you to stand up and try it too, but it's okay.
I could try
Yeah,
it.
no, it's okay.
Do a little demo here. Um, so that is amazing that little bit over time can make a difference. And I think that's kind of the big key is, and maybe you have found this in your work, that people tend to want instant gratification. They want results right now versus those little bits, those little habits over time is what really makes the difference.
That's right, it's just like when you're building a house, it's in small increments, and when you're writing a book, it's small increments. You don't have the finished product immediately, so it's the same thing.
So, absolutely. So, what challenges, it seems, okay, eat a plant-based diet, do some exercise, things like that. What are some challenges that people go through as they're trying to implement these things? Or, as another angle, do you get pushback from people with regard to these things?
Well, the biggest pushback would be when with unsupportive family members. They say, "Oh, you're
Mm,
crazy," and, "Come on, I'm going to McDonald's, come with me," or, "We'll go, out for whatever," and then they cheat. But, it's up to you. If you really wanna do it, you can do it. But that's why support system is really important with a buddy or for myself as a coach, just to keep you accountable. Just for a short time till you really get into the habit of it, because contrary to what we believe, it's more than 30 days to change a habit. They're saying somewhere between 60 to 90 days.
mhm.
I mean, and it's well worth it. It's totally well worth it. If
Absolutely.
you want to go on a trip and you want to lose weight, you're not gonna it's not gonna happen overnight. So, it'll take a month, 2 months, 3 months, whatever. So everything is just gradual steps, and every little bit counts. And if you cheat one day, don't give up. Just keep on going. Like very often, you decide you go on a diet, and then you have that piece of cake. You go, oh, forget it. I'll start on Monday. Well, don't wait till Monday. Start the next day.
Sure. Sure, it's almost like people need that grieving period, huh, before they start back again, perhaps.
Right. Right.
Sure. But, you mentioned support systems, which is so important. I mean, regardless of what you're doing to help thrive as you age. Now, how do you build support systems? How do people go about that?
Well, I do have a coaching program, and then part of it, I have a do have an online program, changing your habits. And so it's a 90-day program, but one habit per week, so it's not overwhelming. And there's Facebook support groups because you need a buddy, somebody to keep you accountable with, to share, what are your wins, what are your challenges. Coaches and support groups are so important. I mean, that's why there's AA. There's all these support groups for various women's groups or men's groups. Um, that's why coaches are used by by trainers, by presidents, tennis players, golf players. Everybody needs a coach to keep them accountable, to keep them on track. I mean, I belong to a mastermind group, and there's only three of us, and we've been together for like 5 or 6 years, and we meet every Monday on Zoom, and we just keep each other accountable and say, "Hey, how can I help you? You know, what's your challenge?"
Sure, absolutely. And that's good to know that no matter, you can have a coach, whether it be in person or online, or a support group in person or online, or even turning to a friend or a family member for accountability.
That's right, exactly. I mean, that's why it's been so difficult with our given world situation, is because people feel so isolated. They don't have that connection to, um, I'm feeling lonely, or I'm feeling sad, or I'm eating too much, or whatever. So, you know, people are realizing that do need your family, your friends, your relatives, whatever, to help you through these trying times. And the one-on-one visual is really important. I mean, that's why Zoom has been booming, because people, at least if I don't want to talk to you, but I want to see your face, you know?
Sure, absolutely. So now you mentioned you focus on dementia as one area. Are there, as we age, are there particular concerns that people need to focus on? Yes, dementia is one of them, but are there other areas that to be concerned about?
Your hearing. They're saying that with hearing loss, it's more attractive for dementia. So get your hearing tested.
Mm,
And activities that feed the mind, whether it's a new skill, whether it's a craft, whether it's gardening, whether it's playing chess, or whether it's playing, online games, to really keep your mind active. You need a sense of purpose. That's really very important. You know, um, you know, when people turn 65, they go, what are you going to do? Oh, I'm going to relax. When I turned 65, relax was not an option. I mean, it's just not in my vocabulary. I'll be active till I don't know when, but I'm just, I play mind games, and I'm physically active. So you really need to do more than just sit around.
mm,
Maybe start a new hobby, start playing an instrument you've always talked about, maybe wood carving, whatever, gardening. Some of the seniors' homes in Europe have chicken coops, and they look after, and all the residents look after the chickens. And there's another
mhm.
seniors' home where they look after abandoned kittens. So it gives them that sense of purpose. I mean, it's just something to keep your mind occupied.
Absolutely. Just kind of that area, so to allow your brain to focus or to with problem solving or other aspects.
Absolutely.
So, wow, excellent. So that's super, super important. I love that how you address that area of focus to really keep your mind sharp, so to speak.
Oh, and one other thing I forgot to mention, ballroom dancing has been shown to be excellent for for your mind, believe it or not.
Ah, ballroom for your mind. Okay, I can
That's
see
right.
for your body, but how tell
Yeah.
me how it is
I don't.
a good
I guess the concentration of the movements and the agility and the turning, and following the lead of your partner. They're saying ballroom dancing above any kind of dancing is number one.
okay. So just with the coordination, the
Hmm.
physical coordination, the mental coordination.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow, that's a fun one, and hopefully that's, becoming popular as people age, perhaps.
Yeah. Start a movement, right?
Absolutely. So definitely. Well, what are some success stories that you've seen with maybe with clients that you've worked with, maybe with others? Could share some stories with us about how people have really taken charge of their health and really optimized it regardless of their age status.
Well, there was a gentleman that he asked me if I would help work with his brother, and so I worked at their summer home for 5 weeks, and his brother had some serious health issues, but they would not do any kind of surgery until he lost some weight. Um, this is back in the raw food days, but it was in the summertime, so it was easier. Both these gentlemen were in the food industry and both Italian. And I'm putting them
Mm.
on a raw food diet for 5 weeks. I mean, can you imagine?
Yes. Or
They,
or or
they,
no, I can't imagine.
yeah, I know. Well, they did it and they loved it. And the one gentleman, primarily that I was helping with his health challenges, he lost 45 pounds in 5 weeks, which sounds like a lot, but that was 1/10 of his body weight.
Wow. That that is incredible.
And they stuck to it. I tell you, I know I saved his life, because then he went on to lose more weight and I worked with him for quite some time. Um, things like that really feed my soul. Something just as simple. I had posted a blog and a woman emailed me from Vancouver that she had read this blog. Her daughter had anaphylactic shock. They took her to the hospital and they couldn't figure out what it was. She finally went home. And so the daughter's back at the computer, um, just about to eat a clementine. And the mother remembered that in my blog I had said, clementines from Spain are very heavily sprayed and stay away from them. These
Mm,
clementines were from Spain. So, in my own way, because the woman remembered, I saved possible negative outcome for the daughter. So,
wow.
she took the time to send me the email, but I also had shared what I had read in my blog. So, things that you can impact people in ways that you have no idea, like just absolutely no idea.
Sure, absolutely. And to think that that little piece of information, probably made the difference between, having the daughter having another health episode.
That's right. That's right.
So, wow, that is incredible. So, and wow, there's just so many stories of now when you're as far as thriving as you age, are there things that we can do to prevent those types of things, or at least minimize the
Well,
chances of that?
well, definitely foods that support your brain. So, nuts and seeds, your green leafy vegetables, your legumes. Um, Dark chocolate is on the menu.
Thank goodness.
You know, so really watch your diet in that capacity. The exercise, like I said, really be conscious of Wi-Fi because Wi-Fi interferes with your sleep cycle. So make your bedroom a sanctuary that is totally electronic free. So that means no cell phone on your night table. Your cell phone should be on um, airplane mode at nighttime, preferably turned off and as far away from you as possible. You don't go to bed watching Netflix on your laptop. No electronics, no TV in your bedroom, no exercise equipment, like no electronics in a completely, totally dark bedroom.
Mm, okay, so it's basically the light that can interrupt your sleep.
The light and the Wi-Fi,
Mm,
the electromagnetic frequencies, it interfere. Your brain detoxifies through the night. It's like
okay.
downloading all the information that has been inputted throughout the day. So if you're not getting adequate sleep, your brain can't detoxify. So hence the accumulation of toxins in your brain. And then
Mhm.
with your diet, what you feed your gut affects your brain. So, sugar is an addiction in North America. So really start paying attention to the sugar content on the foods that you eat.
Mm. Okay, excellent. As well, not even in there where I'm presuming we're not talking about just sweets, but in other foods as well through your day.
That's right, exactly. Like prepared marinara sauces or marinades or barbecue sauces or ketchup, they have a high sugar content, and most people don't realize that. You're better off making your own. You know, um, People think that protein bars and granola bars are healthy, but if you read the content level, the sugar levels are through the ceiling. They're not really that healthy at all. And they greenwash them by labeling on the cover that an extra 5 grams of peanut butter added, extra protein. But number one, peanut butter also has been shown to cause amyloid plaque in the brain. So no peanut butter of any sort of description ever, ever.
Okay.
And then another one that I just learned is when you eat an egg, do not break the yolk because the yolk too stimulates some enzyme that is responsible for plaque in the brain. So either if you're going to fry your egg, don't break the yolk, and the eggs should not be hard boiled or a hard yolk ever, sort of medium to, if you like it runny,
Mm.
which
Okay.
sort of makes a big difference for people that like their omelets. So
Mm.
I'm not going to comment, just, you decide.
Sure, absolutely. So, well, those are great tips of, going into the aging. Now, we mentioned talked about, prevention, you talked about different aspects that you can work on. Now, you also work with people who have reversed different ailments. Will you talk about that a little bit?
Well, for example, there was a homeopath that needed to renew her license, and she was a diabetic, so she couldn't. That wasn't going to go. So I worked with her, and she reversed her blood sugar within a month. So I
Mm.
mean, it is doable.
Sure, absolutely. So what specific things can people do to reverse a health condition? I would presume it depends on the health condition, of course,
Well,
but
I like Dr. Furman's acronym G-BOMBS. G stands for greens, B stands for um, beans, beans and legumes, O for onions and garlic, M for mushrooms, the medicinal kind like lion's mane, chaga, reishi, shiitakes. Um, B stands for berries, and S stands for seeds. So we should eat one something from each one of these categories every single day.
mm, okay. And does that tend to reverse or at least minimize a lot of health conditions?
Absolutely, and a rainbow selection of colored vegetables. Not just the greens. Your peppers, your radishes, your asparagus, your Brussels sprouts. You know, um, Carrots, parsnips. Don't forget your avocados. There's we've got so many healthy foods out there. It's best if you can grow your own garden for sure, but really strive to eat as much organic as possible.
Sure, absolutely. That is fantastic to be able to prevent, to minimize, to reverse so many different aging factors. So that is, and you're living proof of that as well with your cancer that you conquered several years ago, as well as hopefully preventing other health conditions as
Oh,
well.
for sure, for sure. One
Sure.
other thing that I really focus a lot on is gratitude. Um, being grateful, like for example, I was grateful that I had cancer because it changed the direction of my life. Like even with COVID, be grateful because how has that made changes in your life? Maybe reassessed that maybe the job that I'm doing, I shouldn't really be doing, spending more time with your children, your family, just changing maybe for some people, reassessing their priorities in life. You know,
Mm,
I mean, it's been a disaster in so many ways, but there's always a silver lining somewhere. Like take against, the Mothers Against Drunk Driving. I mean, unfortunately, she lost a son, but think of the movement that she made. So
mhm,
be grateful and be grateful like every single day that when you wake up that you have a bed to sleep on, that you have running water, that the sun's shining, that the sun's providing energy to grow our food, the bees to pollinate, the birds to sing. There's just so many things, that you have a car, that you can put gas in your car. We just take so much for granted.
I love how you focus on that optimism, and especially, with various circumstances. I love the expression, you can either make be bitter or you can make things better. So, and really focusing on the positive.
That's right. Your feelings cause your emotions, but your emotions don't have to be negative, you know.
Absolutely. So, yes, and I think what role does gratitude have in the aging process or the thriving as you age process?
Well, it lowers the puts your body in a parasympathetic state, which means it lowers your blood pressure, it lowers your pulse. So, and it increases your DHEA, which is your feel good happy hormone. Because we want to be, we don't always want to be scurrying around thinking, oh, how am I going to do this? When am I going to do this? Like we're always go, 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 go. So it takes time. You take the time to reflect and to smell the roses, for lack of a better way of saying it.
Mm, absolutely. And just with that relaxation too, that probably offsets, different health conditions that may arise.
Oh, absolutely, because high cortisol is stress. Stress is heart attack, and all the other various issues associated with high stress because our lifestyles have been so stressful.
Mhm. Absolutely. And that's a fantastic thing. And that's, you don't need anything. You just need yourself in order to do that. So no equipment required. For-
Absolutely. That's
Mhm.
right. Yeah.
So that's great. Well, what are there any resources that are particularly helpful as people try to thrive as they age?
Um, it's great to be in some kind of um, community group where you have similar likes, similar um, uh, habits, similar interests, whether it's a knitting group, whether it's a chess group, whether it's a walking group. Right now we're a little restricted with that, but they are meeting online, they are doing Zoom calls. Um, really take each day and practice one step of gratitude in some capacity and show gratitude to somebody else. Like reach out to a stranger, whether it's opening the door, whether it's taking the buggy back for somebody back to the grocery store, whether it's helping somebody across the road, whether it's getting something at the grocery store that somebody can't reach. Because when you practice random acts of kindness, you're not self focused, you're focusing on the other person. One really good thing is not everybody's into meditation, but blue mind is the word that was coined by Dr. Wallace Nichols. And he says blue mind is that semi meditative state you reach when you are in, on, or near water. So, why do
Mm.
people flock to the south for winter holidays? Because they're near water. Why do people go up to their cottages in the summertime? Because they are near water. People like sailing, skiing, snowboarding, snowshoeing, skiing, um, swimming, fountains, waterfalls, women like baths. It puts you in that relaxed meditative state. So really take the time to find that blue mind every day. For women, essential oils in a bath, and they're all relaxed, and it's okay for men to take baths too. But, when you're driving and you see a little stream or something, take the time just to watch the water trickling over the rocks and maybe some fish around. Take your grandchildren fishing or you go fishing. Just really take the time to get out into nature. I mean, John Denver's song, Annie's song, "You fill up my senses like a night in the forest, like a mountains in springtime, like a walk in the rain." Water. I put you in that meditative state.
Okay, yes, that's good. That's very interesting about water and just kind of gravitating to it. And maybe even if you're drinking a glass of water, I don't know,
Well,
perhaps.
yeah, to stay hydrated for sure. Absolutely.
Sure, absolutely. So, well, Alexi, how can people get in contact with you if they want to know more information about your work?
Well, the best way is my app, and it's called the Whole Health app. So it's a little challenging to find it. If you have an Android, you in the search bar you type in the word whole health, one word, lowercase. If you have an iPhone, you type in the Whole Health app, the first letter of each word capitalized, and you'll see a little figurine come up in a pink box. And if you click on the first page, the top left-hand corner, it'll take you to a page where you have resources, articles, videos, whatever. And under articles, there is a free quiz. Are you at risk for dementia? So I highly recommend everybody have a look.
Oh, excellent. Well, we will definitely include those in the show notes. So that's fantastic that you've created an app with so many resources accessible.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
So great. Well, Alexi, it's been a pleasure talking with you, and you're a wealth of information about all things anti-aging and really thriving as you age. So I really appreciate it, and I'm sure people got a lot of different tips and a lot of value out of our conversation.
All right. Well, thank you. It's been an absolute pleasure for sure.
If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to be notified as new episodes become available. You can also visit our website at foodexperienceunplugged.com to check out some free resources on helping you develop healthy eating habits for life success.